Welcome to TarantulasDreamTV. You are watching a previously recorded broadcast. Tune in every Monday and Wednesday from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Instagram at TarantulasDreamTV for new episodes. And remember, it is a weird, weird world.
But have I finally seen a space alien? I don't know. But I do know this. I know that this is not a tricked up version like the alien Autopsy. It doesn't attempt to distract you away from the alien. It doesn't have that cinema verite, black and white. It doesn't go to great lengths to try to fool the audience. Straight ahead. It's an alien on tape. Pretty much the way you'd probably film it. The point is this: what if it is real?
It is intended for the entertainment and instruction of broad-minded adults only, and should not be played to or sold to minors under any circumstances whatsoever. Thank you.
Broadcasting from the floating pie pan in the sky at Groom Lake Analog Recordings. Welcome to TarantulasDreamTV. Now here's your host, Samba.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tarantula's Dream TV. I am your host,
Samba.
There we go. There's my applause. I need my applause before I start the show. I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. You're here for part 2 of our look at the alien autopsy footage, as well as we're going to be looking at some other alien footage, not necessarily an autopsy footage, just footage of other aliens, stuff on the internet that I think kind of goes hand in hand with this alien autopsy stuff. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. Phone number for the show is 520-704-7820. If you'd like to call in at 9:30, I'm opening up the phone lines to everyone else, so please save your phone calls, save your questions till 9:30 and open line. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. My name is Samba. You're listening to Tarantula's Dream TV. Here we go. Ready or not, here we go. We're going to do this tonight. I hope everyone's doing well out there tonight. I hope everyone is staying safe, staying sane. We made it to the middle of the week. You made it this far. Why not just go for the rest of the week? If you were thinking about tapping out, just keep going. You already made it to hump day. You already made it to the day right in the middle of the week. Just keep going. What's the point? Why stop? So here we are. So let's start the night off with some headlines over here. I'm hoping the stream is okay. If anyone on the chat wants to let me know about the stream, I'm getting some weird little stream bumps over here. But having said that, there was an outage on YouTube. I know that the internet seems to be having a little bit of a hard time these days. I don't know if maybe just more bandwidth stuff, but I know YouTube was down for a lot of people this past hour. So Instagram might be doing the same thing when it comes to streaming. So it looks like I'm having a little bit of a stream hiccups. I'm hoping it kind of fixes itself here, because I don't want to have to start a new stream, but maybe I will. Anyway, so the first headline of the night comes from NPR.org. Georgia will conduct a hand recount amid GOP's baseless fraud claims. Oh, it's glitching. Oh, wait, 1 second over here. Trial and Error Collective says it's glitching. So I'm not really sure if that means that it's just you're just hearing me, but you're not seeing me. I don't know. Let's find out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop my stream. All right, so I think the stream's back, everybody. Everyone, there's no one on, obviously, because I just restarted the stream, but it looks like it's back up. Hopefully the internet issues are gone. If not, we'll power through it. If that's a possibility, I don't know if it's glitching. Here I am. I see myself back on the old stream over here. I see my cold dead eyes over here on the in the stream window. So hopefully this fixed it. I don't know. It seems like it's still giving me some problems, saying there's some network issues. I imagine that is something I'm going to have to talk to my internet provider about, which means I have to talk to my roommates about this because we all share on the internet. But anyways, let's get to this headline so I can get into some of this alien autopsy footage, and maybe this will fix itself, maybe not. We'll find out. Georgia will conduct a hand recount amid GOP's baseless fraud claims from NPR.org. Amid baseless accusations of election fraud from Republicans, Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger announced the state will conduct a hand recount of the presidential race, where President-elect Joe Biden currently holds a 14,000 vote lead. This will help build confidence, said Raffensperger, surrounded by a bipartisan group of local election officials. It will be a heavy lift. We will work with the counties to get this done in time for our state certification. The hand recount, which likely will be less accurate than a machine recount and more costly, must be completed by Friday, November 20th. Biden's apparent victory in Georgia, the first for a Democrat since 1992, was a major blow to the long dominant Georgia GOP. So I already knew this was coming. The Georgia recount, by law, if the presidential race or the election is if it's so close, it's off by a certain percentage point, like 0.2% or something like that, then it's legally has to be recounted. Now, this being recounted by hand isn't part of the law. That's something that Georgia Secretary of State is kind of going above and beyond, saying that he wants it recounted by hand, which is going to take considerably more work than if they were going to do it normally, which essentially means they take all the ballots and put them in the ballot kind of counting machine, if you will, and there you go. But now they're going to do it by hand, and they have to have it done by the 20th, which does not give them a long time. So hopefully they can get this done, so we can finally put a stamp on Georgia. Just get it turned blue. Deal with it, Republicans. Anyway, so our next headline kind of goes along with it. It's a little sort of local news. Very highly unlikely Trump wins Arizona. No evidence of fraud, Republican State Attorney General says. And this is from CNBC.com. President Donald Trump is very highly unlikely to win enough of the still uncounted ballots in Arizona to defeat President-elect Joe Biden, that state's Republican Attorney General said Wednesday. And there is no evidence so far that Arizona's votes were tainted by fraud or other irregularities that would affect the election, said Attorney General Mark Brnovich. It does appear Joe Biden will win Arizona, Brnovich said in an interview with Fox Business. NBC News has not yet projected a winner in Arizona's presidential election. The Democratic former Vice President Biden currently holds a lead of just under 13,000 votes, a margin of less than 0.4 percentage points over Trump in the state. But even without Arizona, Biden currently is projected to win 279 electoral college votes, 9 more than he needs to deny the Republican incumbent a second White House term. People voted for Republicans down ballot, but they didn't vote for President Trump or for incumbent GOP Senator Martha McSally. That's the reality, Brnovich said. Just because that happened, it doesn't mean it's fraud, which is kind of a it's kind of a good little tagline for the entirety of this of what Trump is kind of doing to all these states and filing all these frivolous lawsuits is essentially, just because you lost, just because you might have lost by a smaller margin than what you think is fair or what's right, doesn't mean it's fraud. That's just what happened. You lost by not a ton, but in all actuality, you kind of did lose by a decent amount. But still, it doesn't mean it's fraud. So at any rate, it's very highly unlikely Trump will come back and win Arizona, even though it's the lead that Biden had definitely is shrinking as the days go on and the counting still goes along. I've been tracking it for a while now. There's a couple different independent websites that use the same kind of algorithms that the New York Times does to update their election results, and so I've been checking that out on a daily basis and kind of watching the numbers go down and down, but definitely in terms of the percentage that Trump needs to win per vote count to overtake Biden it's not happening at this point. So Biden looks like he's going to win, even if it's a narrow victory. So there you go. That's it for headlines for tonight. Let me check the chat over here, make sure my stream is looks like it's going all right now. Triangular Collective, I can hear you. The video just lags. Now the stream is solid. Thumbs up, no more. No more lags. Well, thank you very much, Trial and Error Collective, for letting me know that my stream is back up and running, because we're going to watch a lot of videos tonight. And so if the stream was all laggy and not really working, that really wasn't going to work for me. There's going to be more video than talking. So there you go. So tonight is part 2 of our look at the alien autopsy footage, as well as a few other little pieces of internet alien footage as well. And, I'll let you be the judge on whether or not the footage is real or fake. I want to know your opinion, so we'll get into it. So let me do a little recap of the alien autopsy. So I talked about this on Monday, but this is from wikipedia.org. The Alien Autopsy is a 17-minute black and white film supposedly depicting a secret medical examination or autopsy of an alien by the United States military. It was released in 1995 by London-based entrepreneur Ray Santilli. He presented it as an authentic autopsy on the body of an alien recovered from the 1947 crash of a flying disc near Roswell, New Mexico. So on Monday, if you weren't here, we did kind of go over some of the evidence that this is a real piece of footage, kind of some of the it was essentially the evidence for it being real. It kind of comes down to the fact that some of the set pieces in the footage can be correctly dated to the time period, which would have been around 1947, which included a wall clock in the background and a telephone, as well as an interview that a photo analyst did with Art Bell on Coast to Coast AM back in 1995, where he essentially kind of sort of corroborated some of the stuff that was being purported on the UFO special, as well as revealing that he had some of the footage himself, and he was in the process of kind of looking into it, verifying its legitimacy, as well as the fact that he had pieces of footage that weren't even aired, that kind of had to do with finding the crash, and kind of these surgeons kind of examining the extraterrestrials outdoors in like a tent. So he had extra footage. So there was some evidence that this potentially was a real piece of footage. Now, if you weren't here for Monday, let me just kind of play you just a little bit of the autopsy clip over here so that you can kind of see what we're looking at. So this is the purported extraterrestrial. Apparently it's around 3 to 4 feet tall. It looks about that tall, maybe a little taller actually to me, but I've never been good with height. It does have a wound on its right leg that potentially could have came from the crash of the saucer. We don't know. The stomach is very distended. The head seems to be fairly large, but I'd say pretty proportional to its body. So yeah, it definitely doesn't seem like, I don't know. It's very hard to tell if it's fake or not from the video. It's definitely having it be in black and white doesn't help, as well as the fact that if it's shot on film, it definitely has sort of like the film look to it, a lot of different little artifacts and dirt. So, yeah. So if you have any, if you want to go back to the Monday episode, I'll have that uploaded by tomorrow. You can kind of see some of the proof that I reported on that this was real. Now tonight we're going to get into some of the evidence of it being a hoax, because at this point the evidence towards that direction seems to be a little more, it seems like it's potentially a hoax. So let's get into that tonight. So in the initial interviews done for the Fox special, John Jobson, who directed the interview done with Santilli, or Ray Santilli, the guy who was peddling this video and who kind of got it pretty much sold the rights to it so that Fox could show it, immediately began to suspect the footage was a hoax, telling Fox the whole thing was a fraud. He stated, "It was then made clear to me that if the footage was exposed as a hoax before the show aired, the ratings would suffer." So the director who did all the interviews for the show, shot the interviews and whatnot for the Fox special, kind of thought it was a hoax already from the very beginning. And apparently Fox told him, if people think it's a hoax, we probably won't get the ratings that we're going to want. So let's just keep it under wraps. So not a good look, Fox. Stan Winston, who is a special effects artist in Hollywood, was featured in the special. He said that his statements were taken out of context and said he believes the footage was a hoax. And if you watch the special, it definitely doesn't feel like he's saying it's a hoax at all. So if this is true, and he did say that it was a hoax, Fox did not present it that way at all. So again, not a good look, Fox. Maybe Fox is a little bit shady. Kevin D. Randall, author of numerous UFO books, including Roswell in the 21st Century, Roswell UFOs and the Usual and the Unusual, and the Randall Report, UFOs in the 90s, was also featured in the special. He also says that he claimed the footage was a hoax, but his statement was ultimately not included. So another person interviewed for the special, apparently their statements were edited, chopped up and screwed, and he also believes that it was a hoax. So mark against Fox on that one. The identity of the surgeons in the footage are kept hidden by their contamination suits, though this seems like a likely scenario when dissecting and performing an autopsy on a potential alien creature. It also means we have no way of identifying the surgeons in question. And at this point, no one has come forward saying that they were the surgeons in the video. So there you go. During the autopsy, the camera operator is repeatedly choosing angles that do not best highlight what is being done on the entity, as well as the footage going out of focus during crucial close-ups of the body. There could be a more reasonable explanation for this, however, and I do have a little clip for you from the special where they're going to talk about sort of why potentially the camera operator, why they would be so seemingly so inept at shooting such a sort of monumental piece of footage. So, you be the judge.
I have to say I feel that what we've seen here is a hoax.
Alan Davio is one of Hollywood's most acclaimed cinematographers. He was the director of photography on E.T., Bugsy, Empire of the Sun, and Congo. Davio is suspicious of the film because of how it regularly goes out of focus as if to hide what may not be real.
What we're seeing here is somebody photographing this intentionally letting the image go out of focus. It just doesn't make sense that he would go in and make no adjustment on the focus.
The fact that it lost focus is consistent with the type of equipment that they had to be using.
Roderick Ryan knows as much as anyone about what it was like filming for the military in the 1940s. A combat cameraman for the Navy, he photographed the most secret government projects during the 40s and 50s, including the atomic bomb tests at Bikini Atoll.
The cameras in general use at that time by the military were Filmo cameras made by Bell & Howell. The camera did not have through-the-lens focusing, so if it maintained focus, there could be the possibility that it was done with modern-day equipment, which you can maintain focus, and that it was simulated rather than real footage from 1947.
Davio was also suspicious of the film's authenticity because of the photographer's apparent inability to get the best shots.
There's one case in particular where they're sawing the skull, where the person operating the camera continuously moves to a place repeatedly that he's not going to see anything, the doctor's back, and doesn't make the effort to go around the other side to look at the saw coming towards you and perhaps get a better view.
He keeps moving to keep out of the way of the surgeons. If you look at the surgical crew, they're moving also, and he's just trying to be inobtrusive.
We've had this out with the camera because, if nothing else, his integrity in terms of camera work is the only thing that's actually forced the comment out of him, because people have criticised the camera work. The cameraman was dressed in the same outfits as the surgeon, so he was restricted in his movement, and he said that the handheld camera was standard issue at that time, and they didn't treat it any different because it was either an experiment or an alien creature.
The role of a photographer in the military is usually to record an event. It is not his job to do pretty pictures. And this, I think, was a very adequate job of recording an event.
I will say that there's some terrific work done here, but I do not believe that this is a real event that I'm seeing.
There you go. So that's from the Alien Autopsy Factor fiction special. Essentially, we have a former military photographer saying that the dude did just as well as he would have done, essentially. He's just there to document the autopsy, not necessarily to get the best shots, not necessarily to make it look pretty, but just to kind of get out of the way and document it. And there was, someone else was going to make it look pretty. So that's his reasoning why, the camera person isn't really getting focus. And also, as well as apparently the cameras back in the 40s didn't have true focus, that if the video had stayed in focus, that there was a good chance that this was actually more leaning towards it being a fake if it was stayed in focus the whole time. So, yeah, I don't know about that. Now, this is from proofofalien.com. The original videotapes were never handed over or even made to be seen by anybody but the distributor of the film, Raymond Santilli, a London-based producer and distributor of the films. Whenever the film was to be played, a magnetic copy of the original was being used. The distributor claimed that he has the original tape safely stored in metal cases, labels on which bears the official logo and stamp of the U.S. Department of Defense. The question here is that if the video was never handed over to the U.S. Air Force, How come the labels on the middle cases bear the logo and official stamp of the Department of Defense? So, yeah, it's kind of a conflict of interest. Kind of the story is not really making a whole ton of sense with that one. Now, the pathologist who is seen carrying out the autopsy in the video is supposed to be a trained professional who would be placing the ring or middle finger in the bottom of the scissor hole while using his forefingers to steady the blades. The individual in the video, however, is not seen holding the scissors like a seasoned pathologist at all. Instead, he holds the scissors in a more general way, more like the tailors would do. So apparently, when people are kind of picking apart the video, they're saying that the pathologists, people carrying out the autopsy, aren't necessarily, they don't really look like they know what they're doing. If if you're a trained professional, they don't really have the look of the trained professionals. Now, in 2006, there was a British comedy film called Alien Autopsy that was released, depicting a humorous reenactment of the autopsy. Now, this is from Wikipedia. On April 4th, 2006, days before the release of the film, Sky broadcast a documentary, Eamon Investigates Alien Autopsy, presented by Eamon Holmes. In this program, Ray Santilli and fellow producer Gary Schofield admitted that their film was actually a reconstruction containing only, in their words, a few frames from the original 22 rolls of film, each averaging 4 minutes in length, that Santilli had viewed in 1992. They explained that by the time they had raised enough money to purchase the original, only a few frames were still intact, the rest having been degraded beyond the point of usability by heat and humidity. In the documentary, Eamon Holmes repeatedly refers to the film as a fake, while Santilli patiently insists it is a restoration, maintaining it is a reconstruction of an actual alien autopsy that he viewed in the early 90s that subsequently deteriorated. Santilli and Schofield stated that they had restored the damaged footage by filming a simulated autopsy on a fabricated alien based upon what Santilli said he saw in 1992, and then adding a few frames at the end of the original film that had not degraded. They have not identified which frames are from the alleged original. Now, according to Santilli, a set was constructed in the living room of an empty flat in Rochester Square, Camden Town, London. John Humphreys, an artist and sculptor, was employed to construct 2 dummy alien bodies over a period of 3 weeks, using casts containing sheep brains set in raspberry jam, chicken entrails, and knuckle joints obtained from S.C. Crosby Wholesale Butchers, Smithfield Meat Market, London. Sanfield and Schofield admitted in the documentary that they had found an unidentified homeless man on the streets of Los Angeles, persuaded him to play the role of the cameraman, and filmed him in a motel. And that's kind of where the alien autopsy ends in regards to the story of how it came to be and where we're at now with whether it's legitimate or not. Now, according to Ray Santilli, it is the footage that we've seen, the footage that was sold to Fox and aired twice with the special, was just a reconstruction. Apparently, it was not the actual footage. It's not what he saw in the early 90s, apparently. And in fact, there is a rumor that, it's not really a rumor. This is what he said. He said that he'd actually kind of spliced in whatever was still viable film from the original that he had into the reconstructed version, which is kind of weird. I don't know. So apparently there are some scenes in the reconstructed version that are legitimate, but he doesn't say which ones they are. So I don't know which ones they are. And I've seen the whole 20-minute autopsy footage, and there never seems to be any part of the footage that seems of worse quality than the rest of it, which I would imagine would be what would be the case if you were to splice in just random frames or random scenes into it from a digital reconstruction. I imagine it's digital. It might have been film, how they filmed it. I don't know. But that does also beg the question of if he's telling the truth about it being a reconstruction or the footage not being real, because there is an argument to be made that it might be kind of like a double twist, where you put out the footage, then you recant it and say that it's not real. It's a restored version, a reconstructed version, essentially a hoax version, to kind of throw people off the trail, to kind of throw people off of the truth that this is real. And really, the powers that be don't want people to see it. So what do? You say that it's fake. You say that it's a reconstruction, or whatever you want to say it is. There is a potential for that. I don't know if I necessarily believe that, but there is a potential that it's kind of, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You can put it out, and most people probably won't believe it's real. or you can put it out and people will believe it's real, but you still kind of have to, but there's still that kind of navigation you have to do with whether or not, you know, if you're putting out footage the government doesn't want you to see, they might try to do a smear campaign on it. They might try to make it seem fake. I don't know. It just seems like there's arguments to be made that even the recanting of whether or not it's real, if whether that's even true or not, you don't know. I don't know. It's alien footage. We're dealing with stuff we've never really had to deal with before. So there you go. That's the end of the alien autopsy story. But I do feel like it does lead very well into the second half of tonight's show, where I'm going to be showing some additional footage of different extraterrestrials around the internet. I have two very kind of like famous instances of UFOs around the internet that have kind of been there for a while, and I'll let you be the judge. You let me know what you think, and if this the footage I'm about to show you is real or not. Because again, we talked about it on a Monday. We live in this world of HD video, of these like high definition cameras in our pockets that we can essentially shoot all these crazy events that happen around us on a moment's notice that we've never been able to do that in our history. We've always had to lug around these big cameras, and by the time you got it out and got it ready, who knows, the moment could have been over. But now we have these HD cameras in our pockets that can just shoot whatever we want, whenever we want. And yet, if we did come across footage of a UFO, and we did shoot the footage, and we put it online or showed it to people, most people probably wouldn't believe it's real anyway, because of how much misinformation, how much fake footage has been put out there. And the idea that it's potentially a psyop, potentially the government or the powers that be are letting this fake footage exist for the purpose of discrediting real footage. That's a possibility. So again, I'm going to show you some footage of some purported extraterrestrials that has been kind of around the internet sphere for a while, and I'll let you be the judge. But before that, it's 9:30. Let's get to our song of the night, and then we're going to get into this footage. This song's by the band Slimy Member from Dallas, Texas. The song's called Bomb Blast / Age Old Time, and it's from their 2017 release, Ugly Music for Ugly People. So I will be back, and when I come back, it's going to be open lines. Phone number for the show is 520-704-7820. If you want to call old Samba over here, we can talk the alien autopsy, or if you just want to comment on this new footage I'm going to show you, that's what we're going to do. So sit tight and enjoy some Slimy Member. Hey, LMAO, that was Slimy Member with their song Bomb Blast / Age Old Time from their 2017 release, Ugly Music for ugly people. If you want to throw some slimy bones towards Slimy Member, please check them out at slimymember.bandcamp.com and give them the old slime blast, the old cash and slime over there. Throw it towards Dallas, Texas band Slimy Member. Welcome back to Tarantula's Dream TV. I am your host, Samba, and it is open lines. Phone number for the show is 520-704-7820. If you want to give me an old ring over here in the studio, and we can talk to Alien Autopsy, or you can comment on some of this footage I'm about to show you right now, and we'll get into it. But let me check the comments real quick over here. Blob Dordo. Hello, Blob Dordo. Lizard people still run the world regardless of who's president. People are pulling the strings. It doesn't matter who's president. There's going to be someone else pulling those GD strings, just the president is just a puppet. Trial and Error Collective, maybe the videographer was losing his damn mind and he wasn't concerned about getting the most artistic shots. Shaking my head. Honestly, there's a lot of arguments that can be made to why, if you're put in a situation where you're just some lowly military camera person, I don't know, just kind of shooting an alien autopsy, then you signed up to, shoot war footage, or I don't know, just shoot other things, and they're suddenly the military is having you film an autopsy of an extraterrestrial back in the 40s. I don't know. You're barely getting your mind's being blown by television. Maybe when was television invented? Maybe it was. I don't even know if it was invented by then. But this is just probably blowing your mind in general. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe he was just kind of like he didn't know what to do. You weren't paying attention to that stuff. I mean, if you pulled out your cell phone to record an extraterrestrial, a UFO in the sky, your first thought probably might not be to like, oh, I got to frame it correctly. I got to make sure the focus is just right. I gotta make sure the audio is pristine. Whatever, that's probably not your priority. So, I don't know. There is an argument to be made that, just the fact that he's having to shoot an alien autopsy, maybe, he's just probably not ready to even deal with it. So, there you go. So, let's get into this other extraterrestrial footage, with the first one being a return extraterrestrial to the show, because I have talked about this dude before, and we're gonna make a return return trip with our good friend Skinny Bob. So Skinny Bob, who is Skinny Bob? Now this is from extraterrestrials.fandom.com. Skinny Bob is an alleged videotape containing footage of a gray-like alien. The video first appeared on the internet in early May of 2011. The video became very popular in the UFO and alien research community, although it was speculated that the footage was a promotion for an upcoming film or TV series at the time. The video has also been presented as alleged leaked footage from the KGB, although this remains unconfirmed. While most skeptics claim that the footage is a hoax, most true believers argue that it would cost a fortune to fake the video. Since 2011, no individuals have claimed credit for creating the video. Now, the Skinny Bob video was posted to YouTube in May of 2011 to YouTube channel Ivan0135. The account, which has 8.43 thousand subscribers and over 1.3 million views, has only uploaded 4 videos, all of which were uploaded within the same time span of a few months in 2011. All 4 videos seem to depict the same group of extraterrestrials, as well as a saucer crash. So I'm going to play for you kind of a supercut of the Skinny Bob videos, and I'll let you kind of be the judge of what you think. Now, again, this could have been viral marketing campaign. I don't know. But here you go. This is Skinny Bob over here on Tarantula's Dream TV. There you go. So those are some of the Skinny Bob videos. I gotta cut them. I'm cutting them off a little short because the person who kind of put up to the supercut together did like a weird, like enhanced version of it. But essentially, they all look kind of the same anyway. Even if it's a little enhanced, I think they just kind of like up the brightness on it maybe a little bit or change the contrast. I don't know. So those are the Skinny Bob videos, and those have been on the old YouTube since 2011 on the same channel, the Ivan 01335, and those are the only 4 videos on this channel. Now, no one has claimed ownership of the YouTube channel or the videos. Now, Andrew Johnson of CheckTheEvidence.com analyzed the 4 videos and gave his analysis on the site in 2019. Now, this is from CheckTheEvidence.com. His conclusion: the first 2 video clips taken together appear to show a flying saucer, a crash site, dead and living aliens, and an alien in captivity. The 4th video appears to show a separate incident, perhaps in 1961, as alluded to in the description. This might explain why this video probably has color information in it. It also appears to have been captured differently, which to my way of thinking lends support to the idea that it is genuine. Why fake such short clips in 2 different ways? The way the videos are formatted and the way in which snippets of information have been given, etc., seems to me consistent with how this information would have been cataloged/documented by an intelligence agency. The comments made by Ivan 0135 in video 3 seem quite similar to those made by Victor in the Alien Interview documentary, which I wrote about in chapter 20 of my free Acknowledged book. It's not clear why the videos were released over a period of 5 weeks. Perhaps the whistleblower did indeed intend to release more, but either he was found out and got heat, or he realized that due to the way it was received, he thought it wasn't worth him releasing any more, due to the number of anonymous trolls who are on a mission to preserve a reductionist worldview. So this dude, Andrew Johnson of Check the Evidence, does seem to believe that these videos are real. He believes that they are legitimate. And to also back up his feelings and his claims is Ben Phillips. Now, Ben Phillips is a special effects expert who's actually worked on such films as Doctor Strange, Solo, A Star Wars Story, Transformers, and Transformers Last Night. And he actually weighed in on a Reddit thread that was also analyzing the videos. So this dude is, you can look him up on IMDb, and in fact, he says it right here. He says, I work in special effects, creature effects, and visual effects for the film industry. IMDb me, Ben Phillips. I and those I work with could fake this. The problem is I would need a small crew and would have to spend a lot of prep time and money to pull it off. The clips of Skinny Bob and Family Vacation are one thing, and arguments over frame rate and whether it's 16mm footage is irrelevant. It's the creation of the supplemental footage that people tend to ignore and overlook, all of which are totally unique to Ivan 0135's uploads. None of the other clips have been seen before or since. They comprise of, and then he kind of gets into the videos over here. So he says, so if Skinny Bob was faked, he's either an animatronic puppet or CGI, or a blend of both. If it's digital, then it's outstanding and the creator was a professional. If it's digital, then it wasn't keyframe animation but motion capture. If it was motion capture, then it would need a studio setup. A studio setup means money and more people. If it was a puppet, then it's not only a stunning design, but the puppeteers were top of the pile. The way he shifts his stance and looks down when he's having his height measured is beautifully done, and one of the reasons why, if it's a computer-generated character, it was done using motion capture and not keyframe animated. I'm not saying it isn't faked. I am proposing that if it was, then it was done by a multidisciplinary team of effects professionals. They spent a lot of time and money building physical models for extremely short clips that weren't even the main subject of the video, Skinny Bob. If faked, none of these involved have broke silence since May 2011 to lay claim for their work. And that's kind of where the Skinny Bob saga stays. Now, I had mentioned that he's a friend of the show, the Skinny Bob footage. He was actually first made mention during the Planet X episodes with the claims of Nancy Leader. She said that the Skinny Bob video was legitimate and that Skinny Bob was actually kind of giving her some kind of evidence, was talking to her essentially and giving her some news about the impending arrival of Planet X, which still hasn't happened. So that's the first mention of Skinny Bob over here on Tarantulas Dream TV. Now, the last bit of footage I want to give you is actually something that I had just mentioned, the alien interview footage. Now, this is from exopolitics.org. In 1997, an anonymous whistleblower called himself Victor came forward to tell a fantastic story about a captured alien held at a remote secret U.S. facility near Area 51, Nevada, called S4. Now, S4 is the supposed military site that Bob Lazar worked at during his supposed time at Area 51/S4 back engineering UFO craft. Now, what made Victor different was that he had a video to prove what he was saying was real. The alien interview video has been controversial since it first aired in 1997 in a documentary titled Area 51, The Alien Interview. Experts have analyzed the video frame by frame and are still divided over its authenticity. Jim Delatoso, a highly respected image analyst, did not find any evidence of fraud in his frame-by-frame analysis of the video. On the other hand, a Hollywood special effects expert believed the video used a puppet in an elaborate fraud. Recently, another whistleblower has come forward to give startling corroboration of the content in Victor's video. Apparently, S4 is a secure military facility where live extraterrestrials are taken for questioning by authorized officials. The video itself takes place in a darkened room where a large-headed creature with big black eyes, appearing like a classic gray alien, is being interviewed. So I do actually have this video, and I actually have two different kind of portions of the video. The first part I'm going to play you, because I believe I have time. Yes, I believe I have time. Is actually the full uncut version of the alien interview from the special. So we're going to watch that right now.
Because of his unwillingness to reveal his own identity, Victor's story stands or falls on the credibility of the tape he supplied. Here, exclusively for the first time anywhere, is the uncut, uninterrupted alien interview tape, shown in its entirety in real time.
There you go. So that's the full unedited alien interview footage that apparently this whistleblower Victor smuggled out of S4. and he had trouble finding a network who wanted to air this, and eventually he did find one, and this was it. So that's the unedited footage. Now, another part of the documentary actually has Victor on video during his interview, who kind of goes into some explanation of what he feels like is actually happening in the footage, because without any actual audio, we don't really know. We see the creature kind of sitting there, moving its head around. It's dimly lit, which always kind of leads to the idea that this isn't real. But again, I don't know. Apparently extraterrestrials could be potentially light sensitive, so there's that. Yeah, so we don't really know what's going on. All we kind of see is the alien kind of moving around, and then eventually the clip kind of ends with it kind of convulsing a little bit and seemingly kind of going into some having some health issues. It's a very interesting footage. So let's play this little clip of Victor actually kind of describing what's going on in the video.
Can you describe for us what we're seeing?
All right, we're looking at the interview suite at S4. It's kept dark for the comfort of the aliens. The figure who is just barely visible in the left foreground is the telepath, and behind the camera is a raked seating area for observers. Although in this case, I believe the only other person present was a military aide. The alien is seated behind a glass partition in a biocontainment area, which is maintained at biosafety level 2, the lowest designation. That's primarily for the protection of the aliens, not us. The theory is that if they were going to infect us with an alien bug, it would have happened 50 years ago. In fact, all the indications are the aliens eliminated microbial and viral life from their own ecosystem long ago. They aren't susceptible to our diseases directly, but it has been shown that microbes can reproduce and form colonies within their respiratory systems, which tends to exacerbate the debilities they seem to suffer anyway in our environment. In fact, you can see here the alien is beginning to flag. The interview was not going well. The telepath was trying to clarify some points from a previous interview, but he wasn't receiving coherent responses. As you can see, the being is in real distress. At this point, the telepath is sending out a message to the medical staff. He's trying to communicate with the alien, but he's getting no response. There's very little he can do. There's no direct connection between his space and the biocontainment area. That's the aide stepping in on the right. The medical staff should be there by now. They're slow in responding. There they are. I have to say the medical personnel at S4 are less than first rate. They tend to be selected for their willingness to keep secrets rather than their medical competence. By the way, he's not shining that light into the eyes. It looks that way, but in fact he's checking for hemorrhaging around the eye sockets and in the nasal cavity. I'm sorry. It's very hard for me to watch this.
There you go. And that was Victor, the S4 whistleblower, kind of giving his commentary on what he thinks is going on in the alien interview footage. Now, Victor does not provide many specifics about his work at the S4 facility where the video interview occurred. He claims that he came into possession of a digital version of the video after it had been transferred from the original analog version. Victor smuggled the digital copy out of the S4 facility and made a VHS copy, which he took to various major news networks to have it released as part of a major disclosure. He was rejected by the major networks and had to settle for a home video company called Rocket Pictures, which paid him an undisclosed amount of money. A 1-hour documentary that focused on Victor's revelations was produced with the title Area 51, the alien interview. Victor was also interviewed on May 23rd by Art Bell and Sean David Morton on Coast to Coast AM, where he elaborated on aspects of his involvement at S4. That was the last time the public was to hear from Victor. So we haven't really heard much of anything else from Victor at this point. There were some rumors kind of swirling around that people had kind of pitch shifted his disguised vocal voice track up a couple semitones or whatnot, and were able to kind of hear it for what it probably sounded like. And there was rumors that it was actually Bob Lazar was Victor, but I actually haven't been able to confirm that as well, so I'm not going to throw my hat behind the idea that it was Bob Lazar again, but yes, very, very interesting footage, to say the least. I've seen it many times. I've seen the alien interview documentary, and it can be found in a few different places online. It's kind of a weird other side of the coin sort of situation with the alien autopsy documentary, because the alien autopsy documentary felt like it had sort of an air of legitimacy in the way that it was presented on like a major news, just a major cable network or basic cable network, but Fox. It was very popular at the time. I mean, it was so popular that millions of people watched it, and they aired it twice because the ratings were so high. So this alien interview documentary that was released a couple years later sort of felt like potentially cashing in on that alien TV documentary craze, and it didn't quite hit the same heights as the alien autopsy documentary, but it definitely is a very compelling documentary, to say the least. The footage is it's in color. It definitely looks better in regards to the fidelity than the alien autopsy footage. No one has come forward and said that they made it, that it was a reconstruction of an interview. Victor has never been officially unmasked or come to claim his that he was the person behind it all. It's sort of just kind of survived in the annals of UFO documentaries that were in the 90s. So again, I'll let you be the judge on that, and if it is real, then yeah, I do feel bad for the extraterrestrial. I'm looking at the comments over here. Trial and Error Collective, poor alien and honeycomb viper. Hello, I know, I hope it was okay. I feel actually very bad for it if the footage is legitimate. If this is how we're treating kind of extraterrestrials who would seemingly, I mean, it seems like if they had the power to just get up and walk away and go back to wherever they came from, or to leave, that a creature like this would have done it. I won't say a creature, an extraterrestrial would have done that, but he didn't. So it's kind of it's kind of weird in that regard. I don't really know what else to say about it. It does look like I'm just having a whole mess of technical issues tonight, and it's really getting my goat. So hopefully my camera comes back. If not, you're all just going to hear my voice for the end of the show. But we're pretty much at the end of the show anyway. What a cavalcade of errors this stream was. I'm not sure what's going on. If it's my UFO footage I'm showing y'all, if that's what's doing it, or if Instagram is just having its way with me right now. I don't know. So at any rate, oh, there I am. I'm back. Here I am. I don't know what happened. Again, sometimes I feel like I have a lot of technical errors when I do these shows on like UFO footage or stuff with like UFOs and whatnot. I don't know what's going on. That seems like a very suspect thing to happen. So at any rate, well, we're at the end of the show. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to Tarantulas Dream TV. I'll hopefully be back next week. I had a show planned for next week, but at this point, I'm a little perturbed. I need to figure out what's going on with the internet, because honestly, this is supposed to be the visual aspect of the Tarantulas Dream experience. Since I have the radio aspect now, the ear, the sound aspect. This is supposed to be the visual with the eyes. But if I can't even stream correctly, you can't even see me on here. How can you even have feelings for an alien footage I'm showing you? You can't even really see it. It's like freezing. So, at any rate, hopefully I'll be back next week. If not, hopefully soon. I'll try to figure out what's going on. So I want everyone to stay safe out there, please. It's getting colder. COVID is ramping up here in Pima County again, or in Arizona, and cases are going up, and the flu is around. So please, stay safe. Watch out for your health. Take care of each other. Wear a mask. Social distance if you can, and remember, it's a weird, weird world. Take care.